Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dong Shang. Democrats are pushing cities to phase out the natural gas in homes. They cited concerns over the use of fossil fuels in homes that lead to climate change. However, Republican-led states are pushing back. Whoever wins the battle between Democrats and Republicans over natural gas can shape the future of the utility industry. It can also affect the consumption of natural gas in the US, which is the world's leading producer. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, homes and businesses account for 13% of greenhouse gases emitted by the US annually. Natural gas is used extensively for cooking, heating, and washing, and drying clothes. Climate activists insist that reducing fossil fuel use in homes is needed in order to greatly minimize carbon emissions in the coming decades. Meanwhile, pro-natural gas advocates say that transitioning to an all-electric setup will mean higher costs since most existing homes already have electrical layouts. Homeowners will need to install new wiring to power heaters, cooking equipment, and washers. However, this leaves many houses at a disadvantage when the power goes out, especially during winter or hurricanes. In 2019, Berkeley, California became the first city that passed the gas prohibition in the US. Since then, major cities including San Francisco, Seattle, Denver, and New York have enacted or proposed measures to ban or discourage the use of natural gas in new homes and buildings. The efforts have sparked a backlash, prompting some states to make gas bans illegal. Brookline, just outside of Boston in 2019, became the first town outside of California to attempt to limit the gas use in new buildings. But the state attorney general last year blocked the measure's implementation after finding it conflicted with the state building codes, and thus needed state legislative approval. To counterpunch, Brookline city leaders enacted a new bylaw in June governing special permits for buildings or renovations. Under the bylaw, permits for all electric buildings would never expire, while those for buildings with gas hookups would expire by 2030 to encourage disconnections. 4 other Massachusetts towns are working to enact similar measures, or would be subject to review by the state attorney general, who will decide whether they would need legislative approval. Therefore, Massachusetts is emerging as a key battleground in the fight over natural gas. More towns around Boston are debating measures to block or limit the use of gas in new construction, citing concerns about climate change. Massachusetts is a state with cold winters, high housing prices, and aging pipeline networks. There is no surprise that phase-out gas will meet opposition from home builders, utilities, and residents. And Chinese restaurant owners are jumping into the fray. George Chen is the executive chef and founder of San Francisco restaurant China Live. He said he was concerned about cities restricting gas cooking. Mr. Chen argued that the texture and the flavor of good Chinese cuisine cannot be achieved on an electric stove. He said, "I have respect for the environment, and I drive an electric car and am happy to pay the extra costs because the technology is good. But to say that an electric stove is as good as a gas one is misunderstanding the art of cooking." Proponents of electrification say today's induction stoves, which use electromagnetic current to directly heat cookware, are much better than the electric cooktop of yesteryear. Once cooks learn to use them, they will know it is superior to gas. But some restaurant industry groups and others have pushed back against such efforts to force them to make the switch. 2 years ago, when Berkeley, California banned the natural gas connections to new homes and business, the California Restaurant Association sued. It argued that the restriction would harm establishments that use the fossil fuel to flame-sear meat, char vegetables, and wok-toss rice and noodles. A federal judge dismissed the challenge last month. The restaurant group said it plans to appeal. According to a residential energy survey from the U.S. Energy Information Administration in 2015, less than 3% of natural gas used in homes comes from cooking on gas stoves. Some cities plan to make gas cooking an exemption. However, natural gas utilities and lobbying groups like the American Gas Association have launched a public relations campaign. AGA President Karen Hubbard said this in an email statement. Americans love cooking with gas, so it is understandable that misguided policymakers would try to soften the blow of policies that eliminate affordable, reliable, and clean natural gas by exempting natural gas for cooking. Soften the blow indeed. Sarah Baldwin, who works on electrifying the building sector at environmental policy firm Energy Innovation, said that she believes buildings will need to be fully electrified to meet ambitious emission reduction goals. According to McKinsey Company, if natural gas is phased out entirely, it certainly won't be immediate. The exportation of liquefied natural gas (LNG) from North America has risen tremendously over the last few years. The prediction is that by 2023, the U.S. will be the world's top exporters of natural gas. This is somewhat at odds with the fact that many U.S. states have begun to enact decarbonization policies to eliminate the use of fossil fuels, including natural gas. Economically speaking, natural gas's star might be on the rise, but politics and public opinion still play a huge role in its fate. According to McKinsey & Company, eco-friendly policy changes could force the issue in the coming years. The Biden administration will likely push forward eco-conscious legislation in the same way the Trump administration rolled back environmental protections in the last 4 years. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly.